I gotta say, I really love this pod.
Uh-huh.
We may tell some horrifying stories,
Yeah.
but I've been a true crime fan since I could remember.
Right.
And there's nothing like our bullies.
Yeah.
We appreciate every one of our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
You guys totally rock. If you're new here, then please like and subscribe.
Yes.
Okay, let's solve some crime. Today, we're diving deep into a case that's both politically charged and incredibly personal.
Okay.
The murder of Jamie Hahn.
Right.
We've got news articles, court transcripts, and even some interviews to unpack.
Wow.
So buckle up.
What's really fascinating about this case, and what I think will grip you as we go through this, is how it all unfolds in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Okay.
In 2013,
All right.
Jamie Hahn is this bright, energetic political strategist,
Oh,
deeply respected in the community, working alongside her husband, Nation, at their firm Sky Blue Strategies.
they were a power couple in the North Carolina political scene, right?
They were.
Working on campaigns, fighting for social causes, really making a name for themselves.
Exactly. But this isn't just a story about political success.
Right.
It's about a brutal betrayal that shattered their lives.
Okay.
Because the person who murdered Jamie wasn't some unknown assailant lurking in the shadows.
Oh, wow.
It was John Broyhill,
Go.
a close family friend and someone they trusted implicitly.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Close family friend.
Close.
Someone who worked for them. This is giving me serious chills already.
I know, right?
Tell me more about Broyhill and how he ended up so deeply embedded in the Hahn's lives.
Well, there wasn't some overnight thing.
Right.
Broyhill had worked with the Hahns at Sky Blue Strategies for years,
Okay.
managing fundraising for various political campaigns, including a big one for Congressman Brad Miller.
Mm-hmm.
He was a fixture at their home, at their events,
Yeah.
almost like an extension of their family.
So to the outside world, everything looked fine.
It did.
Successful couple, trusted colleague,
Mm-hmm.
working together, achieving their goals.
Yep.
But obviously there was something darker going on beneath the surface.
Right. And this is where things get interesting from both a psychological and a legal standpoint.
I see.
You see, cracks started to appear in Broyhill's carefully constructed facade.
Uh-huh.
Discrepancies began popping up in the financial records of the campaigns he was managing.
Oh.
And Jamie, being the meticulous and ethical person she was,
Right?
started digging deeper.
I'm already feeling the tension building here.
Yeah.
Jamie's on the trail of what looks like embezzlement,
Uh-huh.
a serious federal offense.
Yes.
And Broyhill, someone she considered a friend, is the one implicated.
Precisely as Jamie pressed for answers, Broyhill found himself cornered.
Okay.
Think about the pressure he must have felt, the fear of exposure, the potential consequences.
Yeah.
It's like watching a pressure cooker about to explode.
So what does Broyhill do? Does he try to explain himself, come clean-face the music?
Sadly, no.
Oh.
On the evening of April 22, 2013, Broyhill goes to the Hahn residence.
Okay.
It seems like a normal visit. Maybe he's even trying to convince himself he can smooth things over.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, he's backed into a corner,
Right.
and he's about to make a horrific choice.
Okay, walk me through that fateful night.
Right.
What exactly happened at the Hahn residence?
Yeah.
This is where it gets really heavy, I imagine.
It does. As Jamie walks towards the kitchen, likely unaware of what's about to happen,
Right?
Broyhill grabs a knife from the counter
Oh my God.
and attacks her.
Wow.
He stabs her multiple times, brutally focusing on her abdomen and chest.
Oh my.
Imagine the sheer terror Jamie must have felt.
Yeah.
The betrayal that cut even deeper than the knife.
I can barely even imagine the scene.
Yeah.
And what about Nation? Was he there?
He was hearing the commotion. Nation rushes to his wife's aid.
Okay.
He bravely tries to fight Broyhill off, but in the chaos, he gets injured himself.
Oh no.
Despite his wounds, he manages to make that desperate call to 911.
Wow.
It's a harrowing call filled with panic and the chilling sounds of the struggle.
And Jamie, what's happening to her during all of this?
Jamie's on the floor, bleeding profusely, fighting for her life.
Oh gosh.
While paramedics race to the scene, Broyhill flees the house, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable horror.
So while Jamie's clinging to life, what about Broyhill?
Yeah.
Does he just disappear into the night?
Not quite.
Oh.
He's found not far from the Hahn residence,
Hmm.
disoriented, and it seems he was trying to harm himself.
Wow.
The authorities take him into custody, and under police watch, he's hospitalized. It's
Right.
like his carefully constructed world, his web of deceit has come crashing down around him,
Yeah.
and he's spiraling.
It's incredible how quickly everything changed that night.
It is.
One minute they're colleagues and friends, the next it's a scene of violence and betrayal,
Yeah.
and poor Jamie caught in the middle of it all.
That was so sad.
So while Broyhill's in the hospital, what's happening with Jamie? Was she able to survive the attack?
Jamie was rushed to WakeMed Hospital in Raleigh.
Okay.
The medical team fought valiantly to save her. She underwent emergency surgery,
Okay.
but the damage from the multiple stab wounds was just too severe.
Oh, no.
It was a devastating blow to everyone who knew and loved her.
This is the part that just breaks my heart.
2 days later, on April 24, 2013, Jamie succumbed to her injuries.
Gosh.
The news of her death sent shockwaves through Raleigh.
Right.
This wasn't just a random act of violence. It was a calculated, cold-blooded betrayal by someone she considered a friend.
It's just unimaginable the pain Nation must have been going through.
Yeah.
Not only losing his wife, but witnessing the whole horrific attack.
It's a level of grief and trauma most of us can't even fathom.
Right.
But even in the face of this tragedy, Nation had to somehow find the strength to pick up the pieces and try to make sense of this senseless act.
And the motive, as we've been discussing, seems pretty clear.
It does.
Broyhill was desperately trying to cover up his crimes to silence Jamie before she could expose his embezzlement.
That's the crux of it. He was trapped,
Yeah.
facing financial ruin and potentially years in prison. And tragically, he chose violence over accountability, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake.
Okay, so we've set the scene, the attack, the tragic aftermath, the motive. But this is just the beginning.
Right.
What happened next? Did Broyhill face justice for what he did?
Yeah.
What about the community's reaction and Jamie's legacy? We'll delve into those questions and more in the next part of our deep dive.
Sounds good. The ripple effect of Jamie's murder went far beyond just her immediate circle. The
Right.
Raleigh community was reeling, trying to process this shocking loss.
Yeah.
She was so well-loved, so involved in making her community a better place. It's hard to overstate the impact.
I can only imagine a rising star in politics.
Right.
Someone so dedicated to social justice, brutally murdered by a trusted friend.
I know.
It's a story that just shakes you to the core.
Were there any public displays of grief? Any way the community came together to mourn her loss?
Absolutely. Vigils were held across Raleigh. People shared stories about Jamie's kindness and her dedication to her work.
There was a collective outpouring of grief mixed with anger and disbelief.
Yeah.
It was a stark reminder that even in seemingly safe, tight-knit communities, darkness can lurk beneath the surface.
It's a chilling thought.
Yeah.
But amidst the grief and the search for answers, the wheels of justice were already in motion. What can you tell us about the legal proceedings? How did the prosecution build their case against Broyhill?
Well, the trial began in 2015,
Okay.
and the prosecution was tasked with proving Broyhill guilty of first-degree murder.
Right.
This meant demonstrating that the killing was both willful and premeditated, that it wasn't a crime of passion or a spur-of-the-moment decision.
That seems like a tall order.
Yeah.
After all, the defense could easily argue that Broyhill was under immense pressure, facing exposure for his embezzlement,
Right.
and that he simply snapped.
Couldn't they claim it was a crime of passion, a momentary lapse in judgment?
They certainly tried.
Okay.
The defense focused heavily on Broyhill's mental state,
Yeah.
painting a picture of a man who had crumbled under the weight of his secrets and his fear of being caught.
They argued that his actions, while undeniably horrific, were not premeditated, that he didn't go to the Hahn residence that night with the intent to kill.
So it became a battle of narratives.
It did.
The prosecution arguing for a calculated act, driven by self-preservation,
Yeah.
and the defense pushing for a more lenient interpretation, a man driven to a desperate act by his crumbling mental state. What kind of evidence did they present to support their respective arguments?
The prosecution built a compelling case focusing on Broyhill's actions leading up to the murder.
Okay.
They highlighted his attempts to cover up the embezzlement, his increasingly erratic behavior, and his decision to bring a knife to the Hahn residence.
Wait, he brought a knife with him?
He did.
That seems pretty damning in terms of premeditation.
It was a key piece of evidence for the prosecution.
Right.
They argued that it demonstrated Broyhill was prepared for violence, that he had considered the possibility of a confrontation and was ready to use lethal force to protect himself.
But what about the defense? Did they have any counter-arguments to the prosecution's claims?
They tried to downplay the significance of the knife,
Okay.
suggesting it was simply a tool Broyhill carried for everyday purposes, and that he didn't necessarily bring it with the intent to use it as a weapon.
Uh-huh.
They also brought in expert witnesses to testify about Broyhill's mental state, highlighting his history of anxiety and depression,
Right.
and painting a picture of a man on the verge of a breakdown.
So a classic courtroom drama.
It was.
Two sides presenting their versions of the truth, each trying to sway the jury to their side.
Oh.
Who did the jury ultimately believe? Did they buy the defense's argument that Broyhill was simply a man who had snapped under pressure?
They did not. After deliberating, the jury found John Broyhill guilty of first-degree murder.
Wow.
They rejected the defense's claims of a mental breakdown and determined that his actions were deliberate and premeditated.
Oh, wow.
He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
A life sentence. It seems justice was served, but I imagine for Nation and the rest of Jamie's loved ones, it's a bittersweet victory at best.
It is.
It doesn't bring her back. It doesn't erase the pain and the trauma of that night.
You're absolutely right. The verdict brought a sense of closure to the legal proceedings, but the true healing, the process of moving forward from such a devastating loss, that's a journey that continues long after the gavel falls.
And speaking of moving forward, I'd like to shift our focus now to Jamie's legacy. How did the community and especially Nation choose to honor her memory? Did they allow this horrific act to define her? Or did they find a way to transform the pain into something positive?
That's a great question, and it leads us to one of the most inspiring aspects of this story.
Okay.
Out of the darkness of Jamie's murder came a beacon of light, the Jamie Kirk Hahn Foundation.
Tell me more about this foundation. What is its mission and who is involved in carrying out Jamie's vision?
The foundation was established by Nation and others who loved Jamie.
Okay.
It's a testament to her enduring impact and a commitment to continuing the work that was so important to her. The foundation focuses on a range of social justice issues, from promoting voter engagement to supporting progressive candidates and policies. It's all about empowering people to make a difference in their communities, just as Jamie did.
It's a beautiful way to honor her memory, not by dwelling on the tragedy, but by channeling that grief and anger into positive action. It seems like a fitting tribute to a woman who dedicated her life to fighting for a better world. Were there any specific initiatives or programs that the foundation focused on? Anything that really stood out to you?
One of their flagship programs is a fellowship program
Okay.
designed to train and mentor young leaders who are passionate about social change.
Wow.
It's about fostering the next generation of activists and change makers, instilling in them the same values of dedication, integrity, and compassion that Jamie embodied.
It's like planting seeds of hope,
Yes.
nurturing the potential for positive change and watching it grow. And what about Nation? How has he coped with this unimaginable loss? Has he played an active role in the foundation and in carrying forward Jamie's legacy?
Nation has been a driving force behind the foundation.
Huh.
He's channeled his grief into action, becoming a vocal advocate for the causes Jamie cared about, and working tirelessly to ensure her vision lives on.
Wow.
He even speaks publicly about his experience, using his platform to inspire others and promote positive change.
It's incredible how he's turned such a devastating experience into something that can empower others. It speaks volumes about his character and his love for Jamie.
It really does, and it underscores a crucial aspect of this case.
Okay.
While we can't ignore the darkness and the brutality of Jamie's murder, we also need to acknowledge the resilience of the human spirit,
Yeah.
the capacity for hope and healing, even in the face of unimaginable tragedy.
That's a powerful message.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to step back for a moment and look at the broader implications of this case. Beyond the personal tragedy, what larger societal issues does it bring to light? What can we learn from Jamie's story and apply to our own lives?
That's a great point. This case isn't just a story about one woman's tragic fate. It's a reflection of larger societal issues that we need to confront. For example, it shines a light on the importance of transparency and accountability, especially in the world of politics and campaign finance.
Right. If there had been more rigorous oversight, maybe Broyhill's embezzlement would have been detected sooner,
Possibly.
potentially preventing this horrific chain of events. It makes you wonder, are there any safeguards in place to prevent this kind of abuse of trust?
That's a crucial question.
Yeah.
It highlights the need for stronger ethical guidelines within the political consulting world
Right.
and the importance of creating a culture where people feel empowered to speak up when they see wrongdoing.
And let's not forget the mental health aspect. Broyhill's actions, however inexcusable,
Right.
were clearly driven by some deep-seated psychological issues.
Yeah.
This case underscores the need to recognize and address mental health challenges, especially in high-pressure environments. Do you think there's anything we can learn from this in terms of how we approach mental health, especially in professional settings?
Absolutely. It's a reminder that we need to create a culture where it's okay to ask for help,
Right.
where mental health is treated with the same seriousness as physical health.
It's about breaking down the stigma,
Yes,
recognizing that anyone can struggle with mental health, and ensuring that resources and support are available.
precisely. And from a broader societal perspective, this case, with its themes of betrayal and hidden darkness, speaks to our collective anxieties about trust and vulnerability.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that even those closest to us can be capable of great harm.
It's a sobering reminder that we need to be vigilant to trust our instincts and to be aware of the red flags that might indicate someone is not who they appear to be.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, we can't let fear and suspicion dictate our lives.
You're right. It's about finding that delicate balance between healthy skepticism and maintaining an open heart.
This case really is a multifaceted tragedy with layers of complexity and lessons to be learned.
It
It's about the dangers of unchecked greed, the devastating consequences of choosing violence, and the importance of addressing mental health. But it's also about the power of resilience,
Right.
the enduring legacy of a life dedicated to making a difference, and the potential for hope and healing, even in the face of profound loss.
You've captured it perfectly. Jamie Hahn's story is a stark reminder of the fragility of life, the importance of living with purpose and compassion, and the enduring impact one person can have on the world.
And that's what makes this whole story so compelling,
Yeah.
so heartbreaking,
Yeah.
and ultimately so inspiring. Let's wrap up this deep dive by exploring Jamie's lasting influence and the lessons we can all take away from her story. We've spent this episode unpacking a truly harrowing case, exploring the events that led to Jamie Hahn's tragic death, the complexities of the trial, and the ripple effects of this senseless act of violence. But amidst the darkness and the grief, there's a powerful thread of resilience, a commitment to turning tragedy into a force for good.
That's remarkable, isn't it?
It is.
How Jamie's story continues to resonate even years after her passing. The Jamie Kerr Hahn Foundation stands as a testament to the enduring impact of her life and her vision for a better world.
It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. Instead of allowing the tragedy to define Jamie's legacy, they've taken her passion for social justice and turned it into something tangible, something that's actively working to create positive change. Tell me more about the specific ways the foundation is carrying out Jamie's vision. What are some of their key initiatives?
One of their most impactful programs is their annual dinner, which brings together leaders from across the political spectrum to discuss critical issues
Yep.
like hunger, education, and economic equality. It's a space for dialogue, for finding common ground, and for working towards solutions that benefit everyone, something Jamie was deeply passionate about.
That's incredible. Creating a platform for civil discourse and collaboration, especially in today's polarized political climate, is such a powerful way to honor Jamie's memory. It seems like they're really living up to their mission of building a better world, one conversation at a time.
Exactly, and it's not just about talk, it's about action. They also have a robust grant program that supports grassroots organizations working on the front lines of social change. They're providing resources and support to those who are directly addressing the issues Jamie cared about, making a real difference in the lives of everyday people.
It's like a ripple effect spreading outward from the tragedy and touching countless lives. And it all goes back to Jamie, to her unwavering belief in the power of collective action. It really speaks to the strength and dedication of those involved in the foundation, the people who are keeping her spirit alive through their work.
It's truly inspiring, and it's a testament to the impact Jamie had on those around her. She wasn't just a brilliant political strategist, she was a mentor, a friend, a source of inspiration. And that spirit of generosity, that commitment to empowering others, is clearly reflected in the Foundation's work.
It's like a living legacy, a testament to the fact that even though her life was cut tragically short, her values, her vision, continue to make a difference in the world. And what about Nation? What role has he played in all of this? I imagine it hasn't been easy for him to be so involved in something that's so closely tied to such a painful experience.
You're right. It takes immense courage and resilience to channel such profound grief into something positive. But Nation has been a driving force behind the Foundation from the very beginning. He's not just a figurehead. He's actively involved in shaping their strategy, fundraising, and speaking out about the importance of their work.
It's a testament to his love for Janie, his commitment to honoring her memory, and his belief in the power of her vision. He could have easily retreated to his grief, but instead he chose to step forward and use his platform to amplify Jamie's voice and continue the fight for a more just and equitable world.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the face of unimaginable tragedy, we have a choice. We can allow ourselves to be consumed by darkness, or we can choose to find meaning to create something positive out of the pain.
And in doing so, we not only honor the memory of those we've lost, but also inspire others to do the same. It's a ripple effect of hope and healing, spreading outward and touching countless lives. Jamie's story, though marked by tragedy, ultimately offers a message of resilience, the enduring power of the human spirit, and the importance of channeling our grief into something that can make a positive difference in the world.
Well said. And for those who want to learn more about Jamie's legacy or get involved in the incredible work being done by the Jamie Kirk Hahn Foundation, I encourage you to visit their website. They have a wealth of information about their programs, their impact, and how you can contribute to their mission.
That's a great suggestion. And to our listeners, as always, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We know these stories can be tough to hear, but we believe it's important to confront them, to learn from them, and to remember those whose lives have been cut tragically short.
And as we conclude our exploration of this complex and heartbreaking case, let's remember the lessons it offers. The importance of integrity, the fragility of trust, and the enduring power of hope and resilience in the face of adversity.
True crime, no bull.